Hello, hello, hello. Hope everyone can hear me. My name is Danielle Parks. I am the principal consultant with Parks Projects NJ. We handle bookkeeping, accounting, and tax preparation for nonprofits, entrepreneurs, businesses, and individuals. If you want to learn a little bit more about my company, you can go on parksprojectsnj.com. But tonight, we're here to talk about some myths surrounding the accounting world. These can be things that you've heard from your friends on social media or even from other professionals. Just a quick disclaimer. What I'm sharing is for general education purposes only, and this is not personal tax or legal advice because everyone's situation is different. So you should talk to a professional when it comes to your direct situation. So if you're watching live, I'd like for you to drop live in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, comment replay. All right, well, let's dive into the first myth, which is a big tax refund means that I'm doing great financially. Your tax refund is not a bonus. It's actually an interest-free loan that you're giving the IRS. Because most people get excited when they're getting a big refund. They're like, wait a minute, great, free money. It's not actually free money. It means that you're overpaying taxes throughout the year. But imagine if you just had that $200, $300, $100 extra in your paycheck, what you can do with it. You can be using it to pay down your debt, build a savings, invest in your business, or even an IRA. I'm not saying that a big tax refund is bad, but it sometimes is a sign that your withholdings are off. So if every year you're getting this big refund, I would suggest that you review your W-4 and fine-tune it so that, the money's hitting your paycheck rather than going to the IRS. The second myth I want to address is that Cash App, Zelle, and my side hustle is not taxable. Just because the money hits Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, it doesn't mean it's invisible. Your side hustle income is income. So let's talk about these apps, because the biggest myth out there is that if I'm getting paid through these apps, the IRS does not see it. So not true. So here's what it is. If you're getting paid for a service, hair, nails, coaching, babysitting, tax preparation, that's income. It doesn't matter if you're getting it from Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, cash in your hand. Tax law shows it as income. But there is a difference between a friend Cash Apping you money because you paid for dinner, rather than you sending money or someone sending you money for a service. Those are two totally different things. And also, due to reporting guidelines, these apps are now sending information to the IRS. So to be on the safe side, when you're working with your side hustle, track all your income, track all your relevant expenses so that when it's time to file, you're reporting correctly and honestly your income and expenses. The third myth that we're going to discuss is I can fix a year of messy books in April. As a professional, 9 times out of 10, dealing with those books, I can't sprinkle any tax magic on there and clean up messy books. So every year I get people who bring me Ziploc bags, shoe boxes, folders full of receipts, random bank statements, and thinking that I can work my magic and poof, the numbers are accurate. Look at it like this. Taxes are like a report card. It's showing what's happening through your business or your side hustle throughout the year, and that's not going to change. So if your bookkeeping is messy, incomplete, or non-existent, you're likely to miss deductions, misclassify expenses, or not even truly know what money you have. So what I suggest is that you use the year to review your information. If you're unable to do monthly reconciliations and reviews, I suggest doing it quarterly or even twice a year so that you're not rushing during tax season to get everything correct. Now, the fourth and last myth I'm going to address is that if I owe the IRS, I'm doomed. The IRS is normally very patient with people when you communicate with them. That is the key, when you communicate. A big fear I hear all the time is, I owe the IRS. My life is over. They're going to take everything. Now, can the IRS be serious? Yes. Should you ignore them? Absolutely not. But here's what most people don't realize. The IRS actually gives you options on how to pay your back taxes. There's payment plans. There's multiple options for installment agreements. There's penalty relief. The worst thing you can do is to ignore IRS letters and pretend that nothing's happening. Because if you do that, your penalties and interest will keep stacking up, and then your options on how to deal with that debt starts to shrink. So here are a few key steps that I tell my clients when they're dealing with the IRS. 1, make sure you open and read each notice you get. Keep copies of every notice you get and the response you give back to the IRS and when you respond. Also, if you're overwhelmed, search out a professional that can actually explain to you what the notices are and how to handle them. Because the biggest thing I generally find is that if you show up, communicate, and try to resolve the issues, the IRS will work with you. So, hey, Brittany, just want to see if anyone has any questions before I close out. Brittany, do you have any questions? Let's see. No questions? Okay, so let's do a quick wrap up. We've talked about big refunds, side hustle money, messy books, and the fear of the IRS. So if this information is actually valuable, or if you found some value in this information, I'm going to need you to do 3 things. Oh, wait a minute. We got a question. Why doesn't my bank balance match my profits? And where is my cash actually going each month? That's a good question. So, you think about your bank account. You're having ins and outs. So you're having your income come in and your expenses go out. So a lot of times you're not going to see everything that's going on, especially if you have multiple bank accounts. So if you're just looking at one bank account and you have another one that you also have income and expenses going out of, you're not going to realize what your overall profit is. So what I would suggest is to use a software if you're definitely dealing with multiple ways that you're getting income and expenses, so that it all comes in one area. You can just take one general look and do one reconciliation overall. Is there any other questions? I hope that answered your question. If not, inbox me. Is there any other questions? Okay. So just wrapping it up again. If this information was valuable to you, I'd ask you to hit the like and share button, because maybe someone else can benefit from it. You can comment myths if you need a quick recap of what I discussed, or even if you just want me to provide you with some other tips and tricks on how to deal with your bookkeeping and accounting, or if you are interested in actually learning more about what I do and how I can help you, you can go to my website, parksprojectsnj.com, and book a consultation with me. Remember, there's no such thing as a bad question or even a dumb question when it comes to our money, because if we don't know, we don't know. So I want to thank everybody for taking their time watching, and see you again.